Howdy, friends, family, other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you in the top left of Oceanborn, the French Terran mastermind, the kid from Team Liquid. It's Clem. Up against the dramatic Protoss counterpart from Korea, we have in the red, Creator. And it is the Team Liquid Map Contest, which means another round of entertaining, creative, and submerged maps in this. Oh my god, do you see that? Do you see? I don't know what's going on down here. Subnautica is a horror game, changed my mind. But it's been a while. But water maps are, well, at least one of them. I don't know how many. But Oceanborn. Please kill a probe, Clem. I need to see it. And there it goes. Wait, Jimmy, please. Extreme. We're going to extreme physics on water maps. And if you like extreme gameplay and extreme segues into begging for likes and subscribes, well, now is the time. What are we at? Well, if we reach 1,065 likes on this video, I'll cast another series. And I've been loving the Team Liquid Map Contest game, so that'll probably be one of those. But let me know how you like the maps. Hopefully you enjoy the commentary. Hopefully I'm able to make your day a little bit better, as mine is when these two face off. Honestly, well, I think I give Clem the edge here. Clem has looked incredibly strong lately. Kind of goes through phases of reverting to that aggressive. Oh my god, it's so... You know what? Let's stop with the filler. Let's not worry about the filler commentary on the players. I want to look at the map. Alright. We got some fish. Very reminded of Abyssal Reef. The map that... One of the longest running maps in StarCraft 2 history, I think, because everyone just is a sucker for those water maps. Also is a nice defensive map here. This one, Oceanborn, following a very standard layout. We have the options for third bases. A relatively open center. Looks like a lot of ramps to work with here. Under the sea. We will have... And some monster energy has sunk into the bottom of this particular abyss. It is beautiful, though. I'm a sucker for it. All right. And I'm very happy to see it. I wouldn't be surprised if this map does well in the contest. Everyone loves them. Honestly, but the one thing we are missing, did you know it's not just like the physics up or down when it comes to the maps, but there is like a slider, to my understanding. You can have gravity or whatever controls the units kind of floating up after they die. There's a map called Earthrise, which was set on the moon, that had like a little bit, so units wouldn't always float up, but they kind of go up and come back down. I really wish we'd see a little more creativity with that, just from the aesthetic side of things. I'm sure these players are playing on potato settings with physics at non-existent and animations as minimal as possible, so the players can't appreciate them. But that's not why we're here. We're here because we like watching and experiencing it, even if the players are paring it down to the absolute necessities. And what is the necessity when it comes to dealing with blink stalkers? Lately, it's been about siege tanks and good Sim City. And here, despite probably only playing this map none to a couple times, Clem has set up his buildings. Terran players have gotten a lot better about this. Putting the tech lab, especially the one researching STEM, on the inside. So many times, games have been won or lost, or at least significantly changed based on whether or not that upgrade can get sniped off. But blink stalkers are pretty played out by this stage. Creator not finding a ton of success, doesn't even get the Raven at the natural. Clem is now up 97 to 70. Oh my god. SCV just flew past the camera. Oh my, you know what? Just give me an entire series. I don't know how many ocean maps or water maps were included in the map contest, but we're going to explore the horizons. We're going to sail across the treacherous waters of map making and find the calm seas of the basic layouts that we always use for all of the maps. But once again, the aesthetics. Storm. That's it. That's all I got. Looks like a storm's on the horizon here, and could be swirling up a maelstrom if Clem is not prepared. And having Templar against the early Raven is always nice for potential feedback. Creator, he may have lost. He actually only lost 3 Stalkers in that Blink Stalker exchange. So overall, losing a few probes to the single Hellion at the back. A Widowmine drop was attempted. Did not find much. Creator recovering from his lackluster timing quite well, but here comes Clem on his way across the map. He's got the siege techs, he's got the marines, he's got the marauders. They are taking kind of an awkward pathing here, but Creator isn't on the map. He won't be able to jump them, at least not until charge finishes up. Clem tried to come in with a Widowmine drop to distract or just to get something done. Didn't end up working out. It's gonna come down to the storms. The Templar are revealed. Clem, well, actually, Creator, oh, interference matrix locks out the prism, and the Templar inside can't drop in and can't pick up, or drop out or pick up for now. But Clem actually stimmed most of his units there. I'm not sure. Oh, the storm on the ramp. The siege tanks, though, slurped up into the medevacs. Those boosters working just as well underwater. Just to be clear, for those who don't know, the underwater is just aesthetic. It is. The rest of the game is exactly the same. But auto turret at the front. Storm's not nearly enough to work their way through the bio. A lot of it gets washed away, but the DPS is just too damn high. And 1 HP Marine and Marauder still has 100% DPS. But guess what? Enough storms will soften up the bio army so that Clem is forced to turn around, retreating, and go hang out with the siege tanks. As honestly, those storms hit a little harder than I expected. Somehow the Ravens survived yet again. So, Clem, not a resounding victory, but holds on strongly. Once again, Creator bit off a little more than he could chew, but it is very important. The best defense, much of the time in this scenario, is a good offense. You cannot let the Terran setup start poking and prodding, start sending out drops. The efficiency of small groups of Terran units is unmatched, unrivaled, uncontested, unchallenged. So the best opportunity for Creator is to expand aggressively behind these strong attacks. That attack, if it kills Clem, amazing. If it doesn't, well, that's more expected. But he needs to keep Clem back as long as possible so we can get that 4th Nexus and get the economy. He can go for Colossi alongside all the gateway units on the ground, and now the Ghosts are going to be hitting the field. The Templar are going to find it a lot harder to make an impact. Make waves, if you would. Rocks taken down. Clem. Oh, what was it? Was that a medevac? I'm not sure over here. Maybe just SCV. That's a lot of Widowmines leading the charge. And Creator not really in position to deal with this. Widowmines can soften up the Zealots if they try to come in. EMP lands. Shield battery overcharge. Good storm. He tried to pre-MP the Templar out of the prism. Didn't quite find it. Colossi. 3 of them. Extended thermal lance. Still about 10-15 seconds out. And that's a long 10-15 seconds. When Clem is knocking on the door like this. But Creator, patient. Waiting. He's trying to wait out the thermal lance. I don't think he's going to get anything else. EMP knocks out the Observer. Templar in the prism, still looking for an opportunity. Gets a storm, beautifully done, and gets the Templar out. Wow. Creator. That is hard to do. The timing is incredibly thin because you have to select the Templar, cast the Storm, pick it back up into the Prism before any shots land because the Templar is approximately 1 HP. Well, Clem still holding on the ramp. Both sides 185 supply. Despite all this, we have a single Widow Mine dotting the 4th base, making things more difficult. 74 to 73 workers. Creator is 10 seconds out. I think with those upgrades, Clem is still about 20 seconds from 2-2, so there is a great window here for Creator. He just lost his storms, but 2-1 is done. If there was ever a time, try to soften things up, the double kill. If you're gonna go, Creator doesn't know exactly when 2-1 is, or 2-2 is finishing for Clem. If he did, he would have already attacked through here, but he's taking his time. Trying to be careful, not blunking into the Widow Mines. But Clem is about to finish 2-2 on the Bio Army. Both sides nearly maxed out. Despite the tension at the front, the standoff, they've both been happily macroing behind. Clem right now has 8 barracks, 2 starports, and a factory. Whereas Creator with double robo and 7 gates. I believe he lost one of his gates at the front, otherwise it'd be the full 8. Blunks forward. Colossi behind. And the Viking count is not nearly high enough to brave the treacherous waters. Oh, but here comes some more. Up to 6 Vikings, knocking down a Colossus. 2 more stepping to. Disruptor zoning out. Archon on the high ground, still looking dangerous. Still enough Blink Stalkers to zone out for now. More Ruptors on the way. Widow Mines eaten by the Zealots. The best case scenario here is there even any detection left? He has 1 Widow Mine. Well, Clem has 1 Widow Mine left. There is an observer. Oh, with the army, yes. And the War Prism. Clem actually picks up the 5th command center there. Looking for the flank. Knocks down a Prism. Viking count still only at 7. 27 Stalkers. He really needs the splash damage behind. Those Stalkers can zone a lot. But on their own, they get lambasted, annihilated by the Bio Army. There's no question about that. The Marauders alone, without any medevacs, would probably be more than enough. But Clem is trying to reposition, looking for the flank. Both sides still maxed out. Both sides still with a comfortable 4 base, going on 5 economy. Working up and down the meandering ramps here. Another Prism, a little too far forward. Knocked down again. Vikings closing in. Disruptor shots from both sides. Fires off everything. Blink Stalkers retreating back. The Terran army is closing in. The Vikings take down the last Colossus and hit the deck themselves, helping out against the Stalkers. Immortals blasting through, but Creator is holding the line. He did not retreat. He did not fall back. A tactical withdrawal is all he could offer. And with it, he turns it around. He actually, I really didn't think that would work out, but he stood his ground at the right time and turns what could have been a game-ending defeat into a Pyrrhic victory. I would say clearing the ground army and keeping those disruptors alive was about best case scenario there for Creator after the Colossi were dealt with. And honestly, he's going to triple robo. Fusion core is on the way for Clem. Advanced ballistics, clearly the target. There are 13 medevacs right now, which is actually just too many. So I'm not the least bit surprised to see some Liberators on the way. Plus 3 infantry weapons is done, though. Clem's economy has been relatively untouched. Creators, mostly. But now some Vikings coming in. Disruptor strongly suggests that these Terran units do not come any closer. The suggestion is heard. And at the natural, a Liberator plus the combination with those 11... those Vikings get 11 probes. Liberator sieging up right on the corner. Creator starting to lose some momentum. But Clem has a few units out here that maybe don't need to be alone, making sure he never has all his units in one place at one time. Whereas the Protoss army really needs to be together to maximize its strength. In small parts, it can be picked apart and dismantled. The Terran army The only risk is if everything gets caught at once, and you no longer have enough options. Now, Creator actually manages to get up to the high ground here. There's not a planetary. Liberated of sieging up. Advanced ballistics is on the way, but not done yet. Clem was a little caught out of position, but he's making up for that now. Terran army coming in from the south and from the west. Another Colossus down, finding some more targets. Warp Prism manages to get a warping of Zealots mid-fight. Colossus is stepping forward. The medevacs are doing what they can, but the damage output of Creator's army is damn high, especially considering the Ruptors don't really care about your medevacs. Curving in another shot, clips a Marauder. The reinforcements are needed. He still has a dozen medevacs. He doesn't have that many more bio units on the ground. Some SCVs just came in from, I don't know where they were. But Creator, once again, drives deep into Clem's base, but breaks against the third. Does not end up finding the critical damage. Does not end up really dealing with the majority of the army. And when the smoke clears on this one, I don't know if there's smoke underwater, but on the water I've heard of. That one's a little different, but Clem is up 30 supply. The advanced ballistics liberators are a massive long-range thorn in his side, as there are locations on most maps, no matter how geometrically perfectly designed, that ground units simply cannot hit them. And a Stargate is required. And a Stargate is pretty much the only building Creator doesn't have. Disruptor finds a connection. Hitting some Zealots as well. Feels a bit desperate. The Venn diagram of freedom. Clem knocks everything apart. Sends it to the surface. And he will be the one who survives Oceanborn. Game 1 goes to Clem. A solid game. Once again, Creator holding his own, but Clem is just too flexible. He's able to adapt so quickly that I'm not sure. Little details. Usually we see a lot. Ooh, this map is beautiful. All right, never mind. Moving on. No more filler. I gotta remember, like, we don't have to do the filler. We have new content. Maps. And I'm excited to introduce you to... I looked it up beforehand. It is the goddess of magic, Hecate. Spelled Hecate for us Americans out there, my fellow American. But... And honestly, I don't know whoever made the map, but on very first impressions, nailed it. Goddess of magic. Looks beautiful. I love the color palette. I always feel so weird judging maps based on their aesthetic. Because I've played, not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of games of StarCraft, cast almost as many. It feels like, oh, is that an actual bridge or is that... I want that to be a actual bridge. I think you can walk across that, even though it would look weird and unsafe. On the map, it's not clear on the mini-map. I love the look. I don't think we've ever quite had this exact, like, with purple-orange. Oh, I love it. All right, I don't just like it. I love it. That's my feeling. Oh, yeah, that's definitely something you can... That'll be interesting. Oh, that doesn't seem safe. While visually incredibly amusing, I think that's going to create some awkward... And that's the problem, is SC2 is so sanitized. So, like, figured out that even little edge cases, you remember... You probably don't remember, but... What's the map name? There was a map where there's a little area of the map where... Oh, Pride of Eltaris also had this, but... Where the creep wouldn't work. Where the creep was there, but it just wouldn't show up because it was, like, on the layer slightly below whatever texture, whatever was on there. There was also another map that was like one of the space station purple maps, but oh, I love it. All right, beautiful. You know, I really should be looking these up. I looked up how to pronounce Hecate beforehand, but I didn't look up who made these maps. I do apologize. I'm gonna look at it right now. I think we got a little time. Jimmy, bring it up for me. What are you doing over there? Excuse me, Clem. Why are you proxying a starport at that location? That is not... We're just going Hellions. All right. Well, I'm going to give not posthumous credit, but credit afterwards. Next time, Jimmy, next time. Come on. I know we're not used to having new content here. We get a new set of maps like once every equinox or something. Which is actually about accurate. I love the lighting as well. I'm sorry. Phoenixes come in. It's quite literally an art form setting it up. Wow. Did they actually add the Monster Energy logo so it fits with the... It still does look kind of shoehorned in, but... I do like what the map makers have done. Because this tournament is sponsored by Monster Energy. And thank you for that. Phoenixes this time. Creator not going to be left unawares. Engineering bay, bio build, third base. As for layout, just kind of stripping away. Looks like a relatively standard, quite a wide map here. I'm reminded, what was our last ocean map? Wow, I can't remember these names. For how few maps we have, you would think I would remember, but... Oh, I feel so old right now. Phoenixes are out. All right, we're gonna get back to the production tab. This is, multitasking is a myth. All right, we gotta focus 100% on the commentary. And creator, right now, Phoenix charge lot. What year is it? Apparently 2023. Phoenix charge lot has historically been kind of a gotcha strat where you can catch an army out. Phoenix Colossus is a lot more common. Still not the most popular. It is the blink into Robo or Storm. But Phoenix Colossus, like just sprinting into Colossi after the Phoenixes. The charge lots are a lot easier to get to, but they don't scale nearly as well. It's a lot harder to make charge lots work if they see it coming, as there's a very direct counter, which is walling off. Phoenix is still sharking around. Is he hiding the rest of them? Oh, clever girl. Yeah, he's hiding the additional Phoenixes, kind of masking the idea of the charge lots here. Trying to give Clem as little info as possible as he walks across the beautiful bridges. The Cyclones will lock on. Charge is done. Stim is now complete. Combat shield. The triple threat will be done in 5 seconds here. But I think Clem caught a glimpse of the charge lots and is now retreating to the bridge. Don't fall through. Be careful. Okay, you can't fall through, obviously, but that's just a visual. Creator. Oh, proxy gate? Yes, proxy warp gate. Just for some flanky opportunity, because the one thing he doesn't have right now is a robotics facility. Alright, the charge lot's looking for an opportunity. Clem already has several Widow Mines. Widow Mine's probably the best and easiest to access counter. The charge lots come directly up the ramp. The Widow Mines aren't here. That's probably the most important part. Phoenixes pick up most of the Cyclones, get a Marauder as well. Bit of a disjointed attack so far, but Creator gets another round of reinforcing charge lots, trying to sprint his way forward. The Widow Mines will connect. Creator slightly to the side to minimize damage, but the boys are already pulled. And the problem is, you need the surface area. You need to be able to close the distance. You need that one-on-one time with the Marines and Marauders, and he's just not getting it. Clem is able to hold. Creator does have 62 probes. He's getting +1. He's got Archons on the way. Widow Mines, though, are such a direct and overwhelming counter to this entire army composition. The splash damage can easily wash over the entire army. Now, of course, that goes both ways, but unfortunately doesn't for Creator here, who goes from another 10-15 supply lead right back down to even. Clem's army is custom tailored now, positioned and composition-wise, to deal with exactly what Creator's doing. And this is the problem with the charge lot, the charge lot Phoenix style. It has an expiration date, and that expiration date is very much tied to the Widow Mine count, to Ghosts. There's just so many direct counters. This is kind of a style you can use to abuse people on the ladder, but once Clem caught wind of the charge lots, the chances of them actually working went down dramatically. Catches a Ghost. EMP, though, hits a lot of the Phoenixes. Doing double duty there. Another Phoenix down. He's already lost 5 in total. Looking for more. Clem almost able to stutter step through another. Creator has 68 probes. He's getting a robotics bay now. Does he have 2 robos? He's only got the 1. He's adding a second, realizing that 1 might not cut it. Phoenix is still looking for an opportunity, but Clem, I think, knows the advantage he has. He knows he has the army to beat. The biggest risk is getting caught in the center of the map, where charge lots could potentially surround. Essentially, Creator really... He thought he had an opportunity to get up the ramp and just get the damage done, but he really tried to force a square peg into a non-existent hole there, it feels, by coming up the ramp with melee units into bio, blunting the force of that first attack. It's not impossible to come back from here. The supplies are dead even, but the army composition, the quality of units is something that may outstrip the quantity here. Widow Mine drop attempted. Is there an armory? Yep, armory's done. +2's on the way. We're going to end up in a similar scenario to the previous game, where Creator sitting on a... Well, the one thing we're missing is Blink. Without Blink Stalkers to help zone out, of course, Phoenixes are a decent anti-Viking choice. Thing is, though, that they're incredibly fragile creatures. And once you get a high enough Viking count, it's not particularly difficult to zone out the Phoenixes. Or just target the Colossi before the Phoenixes can kill the Vikings. Ghost, the most dangerous part. Colossus had to be very careful on that bridge. Widow Mines burrowing in droves here. He's got 11 of them on the field, most of them with the army. Another Colossus tiptoeing back. Oh, still a little too far forward. Are we going to see the battery overcharge? Is it even worth it at this stage? It is, as it survives just barely. The Widow Mines will connect over most of the charge lots. An Archon from the backline targets down a Disruptor that was threatening a devastating hit. The Phoenix is still trying. Creator comes in with Archons and charge lots from the south. The bridges are full of random Protoss units, but Clem realizes, picks up, and avoids the bridge entirely. What? There's a probe! Was that the proxy gate probe? I believe it was. Well, Creator gonna try to come up this ramp again. He may have what it takes to bully his way through. I was underestimating his power, it seems. The upgrades, well, +2 attack is about to finish for Clem, who now has 4 bases and 78 SCVs. Vikings kiting back. The anti-air is still very limited. There is no blink for the Stalkers. Not going to be easy to reposition, either forward or back. More charge lots joining the army. 3 Colossi, now a deadly number to Marines, and to an extent Ghosts, but mostly Marines can easily get melted. Well, here comes Clem from every side. Vikings from the left and right. Marauders cutting back. Most of the charge lots drawn in towards the 4th planetary. Zoning Disruptor. Doesn't find anything. Colossi knocked down. Immortals added into the army, giving a little more beefiness to something that was quite lean already. Clem with Vikings on deck. Not an army Vikings are going to be quite... they're not going to be incredible against this. They're pretty good against Stalkers on the ground. Probes. Anything mechanical. They got that bonus damage. Well, Widow Mine gonna soften it up a bit. Another mine. Doesn't quite connect. Ooh, that one kills an Archon. Good Widow Mine micro there when he placed it. And then waited. Creator. Still kind of in retreat. If he's gonna recall, now's the time. Well, actually, it's a little late. As soon as the Bio Army engages. Trying to maneuver his way around. Across the bridges we go yet again. Another Colossus joins. Vikings back in the sky. Finding a target. The first air unit, or pseudo-air unit to show up in quite a while. The Vikings will deal with it rather quickly. Oh, chasing. Ends up losing a couple extra. Still no blink for Creator. He hasn't even started it, which is a mistake at this. Yeah, he agrees. Clem, yeah, well, here we are. The, Ursadak. Highly amused at the activities here. Creator holding on, but it does feel like he's constantly just barely bending out of the way of a kill shot. Going full Neo here and barely holding. But good connection with the Disruptors, and that is how. Oh, he actually catches the command center. He's zoning out with the Raptors. The proxy gate. The command center did not die, and it's floating back, so it can be repaired. But Creator, big drop. Big drop from Clem, trying to turn the tides here. But Creator has held and is now pushing back. He's up 20 supply. He's coming up the ramp again. Clem doesn't want to give that position up for free. The Vikings still fighting a lot of damage. He's kiting back with the Vikings mid-fight while still positioning his bio. Down goes the Colossus. Another command center going to be taken down. It's 2-2 versus 2-1, and Creator has no more upgrades on the way. +3 infantry weapons is going to complete momentarily as well. Clem has taken out one of Creator's bases on the other side of the map and is working on more. Clem has been fighting with only about 2/3 of his army back at home. A recall comes through, and the income should be shifting in favor of the French Terran momentarily. Well, he lost some SCVs. He has 4 bases to 4-ish. So I rescind that statement. It's about even now. And actually catching all this, I underestimated Creator's power, as I thought Clem would be able to just close it out. With that, on paper, better army. Creator was drawn completely out of position here. Disruptor walks up and knocks it out. Nexus and a whole lot of the probes. Oh, Creator steps so far out of position after recalling. Another Disruptor down, and wait a second. Oh my god, he just walks up and pops it. There is not nearly enough splash damage here to deal with this. The EMP is stripping away much of the effective HP of the units. 15 probes and a Nexus went down with this as well. Clem will retreat before the Colossus can close in, before the Disruptors have an opportunity to actually fire off their shots meaningfully. There are some Widow Mines on the high ground as well. The medevac count is so damn high. Widow Mine is dealt with. Disruptor is chasing. Another Colossi stepping across. 4 more Vikings are on the way. Alright, Vikings are kind of required. A few of the boys are pulled. Some Tactiboys. Targets down all the disruptors mid-fight. Vikings will join in to knock down the Colossi. And one last disruptor is easily dispatched as Clem takes a resounding victory in the final battle and carries it through with a 2-0. Well, that does seem quite decisive. Creator, once again, Creator's so good at making it look good, I will say. Yet, at the end of the day, he does have issues finishing. Alright? It's a common thing. Alright? You can't blame him for it. But actually closing out the game is the hardest part, especially against slippery Terrans like Clem. Which is why in our bonus game, our final game, we'll have to see if the newest opponent to Clem is able to lay down that killing blow. Let me introduce to you, in our anti-spoiler bonus game, Team Shopify, Canada's Scarlett, here on Harbinger. I'm also taking the opportunity to show as many of these maps as possible. I could not find... I do apologize. I know how annoying it is when somebody just goes off on a tangent, which I'm going to do again, by the way. But I really want to know... Yeah, okay, I got it. So, it appears those last 2 maps were first and second place. Morris. Morris made Oceanborn. Morris, also the maker of maps like Lightshade, Nightshade. She's made a whole bunch of the very top and most loved StarCraft 2 maps. Just a great aesthetic. And then Hecate is made by Volumin, who I don't actually recognize. I'm sure there are more. I do apologize, but looking beautiful. 3rd place was Shipping News, and 4th place was Golden Aura. So, Harbinger didn't actually end up winning the voting. It ended up being 14th place. But you tell me, do you think this is a 14th place? These are of the finalists. Of over 100 submissions, there were 16 finalists. And, so, that means you've already made it into the cream of the crop. I do love the look. This is, I think, our freestyle category. Oh yeah, certainly quite a freestyle map. We got bubulas everywhere. We got rocks. Rocks and bubulas. A double whammy here. Wait, are those rock towers? I believe they are. That you can drop into the bubulas, kind of cutting off some of the reinforcement paths, as well as the watchtowers in the near center of the map. Kind of a crazy look. Like the Tal'Darim planet kind of look, I think, is what we're going for here. Well, that is... I like it. I like it. Of course I like it. At this point, the makers have gotten so good about creating. You look back in those first maps. Oh my god, look at the expansion indicators. I love that. Oh, that's amazing. Look at it. Oh my. Oh, that looks sick. Oh, that's clever. Putting the little void rift animation underneath. Oh, yeah. Nice touch. All right. And credit where credit's due. I promise you we will do this beforehand for, by Shah here. Nicely done, Shah. Is that ramp wider than your average ramp? Not all ramps have to be the same, but it's highly recommended they are, because there's a certain size of ramp that you can block off as Protoss against Zerg, potentially a Zerg against Protoss against things like Adepts. There's a kind of an accepted size. Clem apparently doesn't care. This is played on the same day as the matches against Creator, by the way. So, Clem, it's apparently Proxy Starport Day for Clem. That's what we're going to be doing. Pops away some of the creep. A couple of Zerglings just wander in. Does seem like quite a rush distance, especially considering the bubulas in the center here. Aliens will find... Whoa! Scarlett tries to get an Evo chamber, but doesn't end up finding it. Oh, the queens! Betraying each other. Liberator comes in. No Spore Crawler. This is a very quick Liberator, obviously. Down go a couple rounds. Drones back to mine. How far back can you go? The dead airspace. Yeah, Clem exploring. Siege is up so he doesn't accidentally send it in somewhere if he happens to hit, you know, maybe the Select All Army. Or just the wrong hotkey. That doesn't look like a wall. That looks like a mess. Is this little indicator a reference point? Some map makers will do that in order to kind of like... Either way, the little details are really cool here. Okay, well, Clem clearly getting creative with his wall off. Unfortunately for Scarlett, though, not going to be able to get in quite in time. There are 4 Marines, which should be enough. Clem, distracted a bit, ends up getting the Liberator sniped off while the Zerglings come in. So clever move from Scarlett, keeping Clem busy while she takes out the Liberator. 1-1 on the way. It's going to be a Roach one, as well as double upgrades here for Scarlett. Oh, the watchtowers are taken. It's a very bright map as well. The queens rarely get an opportunity to take the watchtowers, but here we are. Brenda, what do you see? What do your special eyes see? It's Hellions, Susan. There's Hellions. Eight roaches on the way. Plenty. Oh, we got 1-1. Combat shield is done. Stim, I assume. Yeah. 1-1 is still pretty far off for Clem. Trying to get out on the map. Scarlett has taken a 4th and has 77 drones, which is typical Scarlett greed. There's a Bubula here. Okay, a Bubula, a slow zone. It does not slow attack speed, but it does slow movement speed of both ground and air units by about 1/3. For those wondering what a Bubula is. As it's been a little while since we had a map with one. A couple of seasons, I believe. 8 SCVs go down to a simple counterattack. Last Ravager shot, actually able to see... This is a rock tower here, by the way, which I believe drops onto the Bubula area. But though I don't know if that would help Scarlett to take that down. Hellions look for an opportunity. Will end up getting 8 drones. But Scarlett with another 14, 15, 83 drones to 59. Not taking that. Easily outstripping the number killed. Let's see some dark level corrosive bowels to knock down these medevacs here. It's 168 to 117 supply. As Scarlett bashes through another tank. The orbital command itself is under fire here. The SCVs will repair. It may very well need to lift, but that'll give a lot more surface area for the Roaches and Ravagers to work with. Clem trying to stutter step through. Scarlett zoning out with the Biles. There's almost no Roaches left in front, which creates a bit of an awkward scenario, killing so many SCVs. Corrosive Biles actually take out 1 or 2 medevacs there. So, at the end of the day, Scarlett still has 80 drones. She's got an infestation pit on the way. Has not started 2-2, which Clem already has near halfway done. And that is the defining characteristic right now. Without the +2/+2, Scarlett will be vulnerable to that timing window. As long as Clem is able to put enough army supply on the field. At some point, quantity is a quality all its own. But 2-2 Marines are quite a lot of quality. So Scarlett either needs to continue being incredibly aggressive or start working on her own upgrades. Scan, spotting for drone count, gases. Interesting scan there from Clem on the 3rd. Has he seen? Has not looked in the main for quite a bit. Infestation pit is done. Hive begins. +2 carapace. So there is going to be this small 95 drones from Scarlett. Classic. Some might argue that's too many. And those people are cowards. It is borderline though. Like, especially with such a relatively weak army as Roach Ravager, you can easily get overrun by a Terran army that just has too much strength. Like, you literally don't have enough army to win any fights against 2-2 Marine tank, even if you're maxed out. So that is a bit concerning for Scarlett as we head into the maxed out phase of the game. Clem getting closer, about equal on army supply, and about to have +1 mech weapons. Clem has not spotted the hive on the way, or else I think he'd already be far out on the map. Roach is trying to come in from the right. Already a few tanks in position. Easily blast away the front, discourage the rest. Banelings rolling through. Baneling speed completes at a fortuitous timing. Vipers, +2 carapace. Scarlett has 3,500 minerals in the bank. Needs to get some more gas to complement it. 29 larvae as well. Maxed out with almost nowhere to go. The Vipers and the +2 carapace should be the defining characteristics of the next fight. Those watchtowers giving Clem a lot of vision. The reason, historically, we haven't had watchtowers in a centralized location for quite a while is because siege tanks become very, very good if they're actually able to just sit on a watchtower, especially controlling the center of the map or anywhere near a base. So Clem has managed to get towards 200 supply. Army supply looking very good. Scarlett splitting off small groups. Gonna cut into the SCV count, but the siege tanks are more than enough to drive back the exploratory roaches. Vipers in position. Blinding cloud on the tanks. 2 of them shut down. Another blinding cloud on the majority of the bio. Banelings trying to roll in. The AI of the Marines is really making things difficult for Clem. Beautiful split there. But Scarlett, she loses a whole lot in that fight, but you wouldn't know it with the supply count. She's back at 200 before Clem is even able to start stepping forward. 50 more Zerglings, 23 more Banelings. Clem can keep getting the damage. Even some Ghosts getting involved here, though. Ghosts, one of the few scenarios where Ghosts not really that incredible. Quite an expensive choice. Blinding cloud. Banelings rolling through past the siege tanks. Clem trying to hold the line. And so far doing a pretty good job of it. But the Ravagers will spray up another set of biles. And Clem, yet again, will win the fight. Will win the battle. But the war is very much in doubt. 112 Zerglings in the production tab. Streaming out. +1/+2 against 3-2 Marine Marauders. So the only saving grace here for Scarlett is the Queens and the Ravagers threatening the medevacs. A true Zerg versus Terran here. 3-3 Marines and plenty of tanks up against seemingly endless Zerglings and Banelings. Hydra is on the way as well. Muscular augments about to complete. Lings and Banes. and Ravagers up against some of the most efficient Terran you're gonna get. The Bubula's slowing things down, but certainly not stopping them. Pretty open field here for Scarlett. In order to work with Blinding Cloud on the tanks. Banelings rolling in, all the way up to the natural, which isn't even walled. A lot of the SCVs on the run. Banelings blasting through much of the bio, many of the SCVs. Reinforcements are struggling to stem the tide. But corrosive biles knocked down multiple liberators, several metapacks, plus 3 carapaces done. Scarlett keeps building. She's got money in the bank, an endless stream of Zerg coming across the map. And it looks like Clem is all but done as the creep spread is on his front lawn. The Zerglings and Banelings will be joining it momentarily. And while he withstood all these attacks, I don't think he has it to withstand anymore. There's still a couple Vipers out there. But Scarlett has taken advantage of what seems to be quite an open map in order to really embrace the true Zerg. Showing that Clem is not infallible in this bonus game. At Scarlett, some classic Zerg there on Harbinger. I'm not sure about the map. It is a cool idea. We didn't see too much of the rock towers. I did love... I don't think it's surprising the first 2 maps we saw today were the first and second, respectively, in the map contest. And I would love if Bobby, the intern, of course, could, at some point in the next quarter, update some of those maps on the ladder. Would be awesome, Bobby. Checks in the mail. Thank you guys for watching. If we could get... what are we at? 1,065? 5 likes. Cast another series. More of the Team Liquid Map Contest maps. And just, well, you know, good games for the fans. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned.